two chapters today, and that would be A Sluggish Memory and Birthday Surprises, in which we almost kill Ronald Weasley. That's gotta be just terrifying for everyone involved. You'll notice for the title of this video I am using the 3Ds of Apparition, and that is Destination, Determination, Deliberation, which gets repeated several times throughout the chapter of Birthday Surprises, though the introduction of the apparition lessons, of course, comes in earlier when they first get back to school in a sluggish memory. And while we're doing it sort of retrograde, because we do have the 3Ds introduced in the second of today's chapter, I really do think that they need to be applied to our reading here. Now this is done in a really interesting way. We have it repeated to the point where, just like with the characters, we get it, okay, cool, this isn't useful for us, this isn't getting us anywhere, is this a red herring? And that's sort of the interesting thing is, because that feeling is not just occurring in the apparition lessons. This is occurring throughout the set of chapters with a couple of different things. Most notably, of course, with the fact that Harry is constantly being written off by freaking, like, everybody, including Dumbledore, who at this point in time, Dumbledore is tired of explaining it and is actually getting upset. And that's sort of interesting. We haven't really seen Dumbledore upset towards Harry at up to this particular point. We've seen him get angry at other people on the fringes, but not really Harry. And Harry and Dumbledore then come off as being very close to each other, because Dumbledore does correctly say that they're both thinking that they're right and they're not considering what everybody else, like what the other person is saying as more important. They're considering their own thing as more important, and we really need to get going. It becomes this thing of everybody else, all the 3Ds is just, I don't care. It's not getting me where I want to be getting me. This isn't important. You've got a monotone voice. Why is it so difficult? And that's sort of the interesting thing is, because in this moment of this is annoying and I want to be done with it, that is the thing we should apparently be most paying attention to. Destination, determination, and deliberation are the things that in fact we are for the most part lacking with our characters at this point in time. And I mean overarchingly. Interestingly enough, one of the few characters I think that does have this set of rules down is Tom Riddle. And that's frightening because of what he does. The 3Ds are not just applicable to apparition. They are in truth something that we should be trying to apply in everything we do. We really should have an idea of where we're going. We should have a destination, we should have the determination to get there, and we should move with deliberation. To ignore these things can leave us cut off and drifting. And that's exactly what's actually happening with all these characters. While we do have some action we're moving through, it's nothing that seems to us to really be advancing the plot. We just sort of feel like we're drifting through the school year. We know, again, on the fringes that something's going on, but nothing that's directly involving these kids. And in fact, the trio are drifting apart. In a critical time where we should be moving forward to a goal, we're not. Because the 3Ds is actually something that, again, we've just, yeah, get it, it's a lesson, whatever, I don't care. And that's exactly what's happening with everything else. Like, Harry's just done with everything. He's done with listening to Hermione tell him off for reading the prince's stuff. He's done with Hermione and Ron and their sexual tension and that just never getting resolved. He's tired of arguing about it. Both of them are tired of him bringing up frickin' Draco Malfoy. Dumbledore's tired of him bringing up frickin' Draco Malfoy. Everybody is tired, and it means that we're not effectively getting any place. Even with Dumbledore's lessons, in the long run, we as people who have read this know that these lessons are important. We know that we are achieving critical information that is going to be key in the future. But straight up, Dumbledore has this tendency, just like he states, where he's got this idea in his head that he's got it figured out and we just need to go there. And what he doesn't understand is if you're straight up not driving the car on your own, you might want to tell your co-driver where you're trying to get to. Like, if we are trying to move Harry towards an understanding, then maybe being a little clearer about that what that understanding is would be key. Maybe if you directly tell him what you think the concern is, he'll be less focused on frickin' Draco Malfoy and more focused on what you are trying to communicate to him. But we don't know what the destination is, so how are we supposed to be determined to move towards that destination and move with deliberation if we don't know what the destination is? That is the thing that we are struggling with right now, is these characters are drifting because they don't know where they're going, they don't know what they're aiming for, they don't know what they want, so they don't know how to figure out how to achieve it. Like the sexual tension between Ron and Hermione, straight up a big part of that is because they're not sure if they want to date each other, if they want to date other people, if they just want to get over this. They don't know, so they're angry and they're lashing out. Harry thinks he knows what he wants, which is to figure out what's going on, except he can't figure out how to do it. He doesn't have that move with deliberation because no one is telling him something to do. Until this point where Harry says, Dumbledore says that you've got homework, I need this memory. So Harry's now got an aim, but he doesn't have, again, this full understanding of you need to determine what you're doing, not just where you're going, what you're trying to do, but what you are doing, and move carefully with determination and deliberation. And it's frustrating. Of course he's going to get shut down by Slughorn, because Slughorn's been through this. He's not going to respond positively when you ask him the question he was trying to forget about. And that's the interesting thing. I mentioned at the start of this video that the only person who seems to understand right now these 3Ds and how to move through them, Tom Riddle. Like, we get a very serious sense that once he figures out, sort of once this carrot of the magical world has been dangled in front of him, he says, okay, I want to have the power involved here. And Dumbledore, of course, has already sort of stomped on him and said, I am more powerful than you. So Tom Riddle says, okay, I want the power. His destination is power. Okay, am I determined to get there? Am I willing to do whatever it takes to get there? Yes. Moving deliberately, he makes the decision to charm people. He charms his professors, he charms his friends, he gathers this sort of dark little group around him, and moves them forward with him to achieve this. He specifically goes looking for his parentage. He wants to figure out who he's related to and how he's related to him, to the point where he goes investigating. Which is more actively than we've got a lot of people doing. And then he does this thing where, again, he's decided, okay, so being a muggle isn't positive. I don't want to be related to you. How do I change that? Oh, I don't know. Kill them. And he, again, does it very deliberately. He stuns his uncle, he steals his uncle's wand, he kills his father and grandparents, drops the wand back off, does some scary mind magics, takes the ring and goes. Same with figuring out Horcruxes. He very intentionally softens Slughorn up. He's charmed him, he's known to be this really smart, powerful, witty, charming guy. Like, he's figured this out, and he's willing to work through all of this to get what he wants. That's terrifying, but in fact is probably something that we should be working towards. Draco is actually running into the same problem that Harry is, and that is that his sort of cohorts aren't sure they want to be involved because they don't know what's going on. Harry, in fact, is sort of in the position of Crabbe in this moment of going, just freaking tell me what's going on. I just want to know. And so he starts investigating. He's now following Draco around on the Marauders map. Not quite making connections that the Room of Requirement that they've been using a whole lot doesn't show up on the map. Sometimes these characters really frustrate me. And this is actually one of those moments. Because we just feel like we're drifting. And that's because the characters are drifting and we want to be like, guys, come on, guys. And oftentimes it will take a serious moment. Which is what's occurred at the end of this chapter. We're not going to be drifting after this point. We're going to figure some shit out because one of us has almost died. I'm going to keep reading, and I hope you do too. See you next time.